for the session 2, Mr. Dipesh Kaura, sir, Country Head India and SAARC, Cyble Inc. to kindly come on stage, and sir will present on the topic relevance of threat intel in evolving digital era. Thank you so much, sir.
Hi guys, audible? Okay, so it's been a very, very patient audience, of course. And I know that I stand between you and the lunch. So I will try to be as crisp and as to the point as possible. So threat intelligence as a service or as a source of information around the dark side of the cyber world has been around for, I think, close to 7-8 years now, maybe 10. My interaction with threat intelligence goes back to 2015-16 when I was with FireEye. Those were the early days where we were talking APT, attack vectors and threat actors and things around that. But, and I've seen this whole journey of, advanced cyber attacks being accepted in the market. We've seen, I mean, I come from a point in time where when we used to talk to people about advanced cyber threats or do POCs and find out some bad stuff in the organizations, CISOs used to shut it down, saying that don't show it, it might be a job risk for me. Then there was a point in time that people never agreed that there is something called as a cyber threat. It happens only in movies. And if there has to be, why will I get attacked? There are bigger companies and bigger countries that attacker will go and hunt for. Why will I be attacked? So from that stage to coming to a conversation where people now directly ask questions that, okay, if I use an XYZ tool, will the tool be able to give me an indication that, if there is already some attacker sitting inside my organization? So from a point of denial to a point of acceptance is where this whole industry has come to. But unfortunately, threat intel hasn't evolved. And threat intel hasn't evolved in the minds of the end user. And I would also blame, I would share the blame with the OEMs as well. Threat intel has somehow taken the shape of threat feeds. And we need to understand and agree that threat feeds are different from threat intelligence. Threat feed is just a part of threat intelligence or cyber intelligence, if I can put it that way. And that is something that still does not resonate well with the customer, or whenever we are in deeper discussions, we end up getting conversations like, oh, I get 4 threat intelligence inputs from 4 of my OEMs. One of them being a firewall provider, one of them being an endpoint provider, one of them from whom I take my servers, and maybe one more. So there is still a huge misconception related to threat feeds and threat intelligence. So to get things more contextual, threat feeds are just like a newspaper in the morning, right? Every day, 7:30 in the morning or 6:30 in the morning, the newspaper guy comes and drops it on the door and just goes away. Then it is up to your time, convenience, and interest that what time you open the door, you take the newspaper and you choose to read, and you read. You don't read everything, right? So that is what threat feed is. But threat intelligence is way beyond, way beyond. And with this whole digital story getting more and more aggressive and people getting more and more digital savvy, we need to understand how threat intelligence can actually facilitate or improve the overall cybersecurity posture or the threat posture of your organization. Okay, 1 second. There is a lag. Okay, quickly talking about Cyble, we are the youngest in the industry today, just about 5 years old, and or should I say 5 years young, and just like any 5-year kid, we are full of energy, full of excitement, doing a lot of things that conventional people or the adults in the industry don't do. That is how I would take a few seconds to define Cyble. We are having more than 400 customers today, more than 250 people working with us. Almost 50% of our staff is still focused on research and hunting. A large part of the Forbes 500, top 500 companies are subscribed to our services, and of course, we are present in multiple locations across the geography. We've got threat actors who handle multiple geographies in multiple languages and can go to the deepest and the darkest side of the dark web. Things that we do. This is just to give you a glimpse of the range and the interest that we have in cybersecurity. Something like we have, I'm sure not many or hardly anybody would know about this. We have a service called as Am I Breached, and that is for any common man who is either aware or not aware about cybersecurity. You can just download the app. It is free of cost. Put in your credentials and check whether your details are already in the dark web or not. It's an absolutely free service. We've got blogs which are extremely functional. We get close to about 100 million hits every day, if I'm not wrong. And beyond that, one of the key services which has given us a lot of exposure and preference over our competition is CyberHawk. We have specialized services which are for the government. And when I talk government, I'm talking governments across the globe. We are talking specified services for the defense sector, and again, I'm talking across the globe. But what is something which is of most importance today is Cyble Vision. That's why it's right in the middle of the screen. Cyble Vision is meant for all corporates. It is a bouquet of more than 40 services put together, and you can pick and choose. And maybe I'll talk a little more as we proceed about it. Cyber Express is something what we are hosting today. In your goodie bags, you would have one magazine which only talks about the cyber world and the activities happening in the cyber world. And then we have something called as Cyber Odin, which is meant only for the researchers, because we scan close to about 4 billion IP scans every day. So right from someone, a common man, right up to a researcher, and everything is in between that gets covered when you engage with Cyble. Our presence across global presence in terms of places where we operate from. Just bear with the delay. Okay, now coming down to some serious context, what I started on. So a typical SIEM story, which is where most of the organization or enterprises are today. We have the SOC. We have a bunch of applications, hardware, infrastructure, connectivity which generate logs. The purpose of the SIM is to aggregate all those logs. The SOAR, whoever has implemented the SOAR would give you some kind of automation to give some breathing time to your SOC team, but there are real-time challenges which are only getting bigger. Resources, fatigue, difficulty in hunting, filtering, and responsing. How does threat intelligence help in all this now? Now, I want you to just introspect for a moment. If you think about any technology which you are using in your organization today, any cyber defense technology, any networking based technology, any endpoint, whatever you are using for cyber defense today, every technology that you use is reactive in nature. Which means, and that also applies to your SOC. What does a SOC do? If there is any anomaly or a misbehavior in your entire ecosystem which is detected, it will flag it off. Correct? That means it has to wait for some anomaly to happen. Only then will it respond. But threat intelligence, and now I'm actually talking threat intelligence and not threat feeds. Threat intelligence is the only cyber technology which is predictive in nature. It can actually foretell or make you aware that there are certain things happening within or outside your organization which could lead to a probable breach or an attack. Do you think I'm right on this? All technologies that you're using are reactive besides threat intelligence. Now, how do you classify threat intelligence? You can put it in 4 different buckets. You can have threat intelligence to help you do detection. You can use threat intelligence for further investigations. You can use threat intelligence for right kind of responses, and you can use threat intelligence for planning. Now, how many times as an end user have you thought that a threat intelligence service subscription or information coming to you could be bucketed in this form? That is because most of the time we've never thought anything beyond feeds. Okay, then the most things that we thought is dark web monitoring, deep web monitoring, attack surface monitoring. I mean, that is all, those are modules. You should know how to make the best use of those modules so that it can give you the power to use the information which is coming to you. Information is knowledge, right? If you have the knowledge, you will be able to react and probably react before things go bad. That is the purpose of having threat intelligence. You can have threat intelligence put in these kind of different buckets as well, where you can have application related stuff, you could have relevance related stuff. So this is where threat feeds would actually come in when you talk about relevance. So you could have threat feeds related to only BFSI, only manufacturing, only IT, ITES, or in some specific customized way if you want. You could have subscription from any vendors for that matter who are capable enough to customize a report and give it to you as a customer that, Mr. Customer, these are the problems that we see and this is how you need to react. Yeah, you could have IOC based threat intelligence feeds coming in, threat intelligence activities happening. You could use threat intelligence even in categories of the age of information. How many times have you gone 6 months back, 3 months back, maybe a year back to verify with your SIEM tool whether those informations were there and whether alerts which were seen before which went unnoticed, which is where it will help you plan for the next scenarios which are coming in and probably create a better response model. Because I think today we've come at a level where people agree that, like it or not, there will be a bad day and you need to handle it. And the best of industries have faced it. You can also categorize threat intelligence in these 4 different categories. You can have threat intelligence which is absolutely operational in nature. You can classify it for operational purposes. You can classify threat intelligence for strategic purposes. And those strategic purposes could be both inside the organization, relevant to the industry, or certain specific strategic inputs on threat intelligence coming to you in a very, very customized manner, which can completely change the outlook of the way your SIM and SOC and SOAR is responding, because that will help you change the way you've put in the correlation rules for your organization. Technical, I think most of us are using it in a technical way because we are using deep web, dark web, we're using attack surface management, we are using some kind of professional services that there is a situation, please help me out and stuff like that. But that is just one part of it. So the whole idea to bring this thought in front of you is to give you a perspective of how important and how relevant can threat intelligence be if used in the right context with the right perspective. Because I will again and again insist on this, that like it or not, in today's cyber world, threat intelligence is the only thing which is predictive. Right? We are all Indians, so we believe in astrologers. So astrologers predict, right? Same way, threat intelligence can foretell which possibly could go wrong in the next 3, 6, 9 months, right? As an organization that is very, very close to the dark side of the cyber world, we function across the board. We will and we can be your partners before the breach in the detect stage. We can be your partners at the time when a breach has happened for investigation purposes. We can definitely be your partners for closing those breaches. And again, I would insist on this. Not many strong players in the market that can help you close your breaches, which is the most difficult part. And the only thing that most of the industry options are offering are takedown services. I'm sorry, I'm getting a bit product driven, but it's important to drive the point. Takedown service is not closing of a response. Takedown is still something which is either predictive or something which is to your knowledge. Think about of a situation where you're into a ransomware. You've been asked to pay ransom, your machines are held up, or maybe there is some blackmail which is happening with your top management. I mean, there are so many things in the market today. Those are things which you would call closures. And again, I'm saying not many people in the market today are having the capability to close stuff. All the things that I spoke in the past 7 minutes, the Cyble vision offering that we have can cover up every aspect of everything that I spoke today. Be it strategic, tactical, operational, high level, low level, deep web, investigative, technical responses, whichever aspect of threat intel is relevant to you, the Cyble Vision platform is capable of providing it to you in a customized way where it does not cause any disruption. So we would not come back saying that, remove this, change that, and now you put this. The idea is to complement and enhance your cyber maturity rather than disrupt anything. Okay? Next. This will be a little more sales driven, so I would keep that for the later. Okay. Now, this is something that I want you to take note on, and this is something which we take pride on. Cyble today stands as one of those very few cyber intelligence providers, and I'm now using the word cyber intelligence and not threat intelligence, where we have an entire team of researchers focused only on the India market. We are looking at threats across enterprises, we are looking at threats across governments, defense, manufacturing. You look at the vertical and we've got data and information around it. And again, I'm insisting, this is not superficial data. It is data with content, which can give you information, and that information can transform into knowledge. It is highly, highly actionable, custom driven, and focused to you as an end user. That is the level of depth and individualization that Cyble has the capacity to provide to you as an end user, because this can change fortunes of an organization. If we are able to even mitigate one risk, I'm not even saying a breach, even one risk, it's made all your investments in all other technologies worthwhile, because whatever information comes to you through threat intelligence, whatever you have invested in, all your infrastructure will take action accordingly, because you will go back and change the rules of correlation and the way your SOC is functioning and the way your teams are responding. Yeah. So what does a CISO want today? Bunch of friends sitting all around. You want someone who can do that consolidation for you. Most importantly, you want someone who you can reach out to in the times of trouble. You want someone who can give you at least a hand holding or a guidance, if not immediate assistance. right? That's the trouble point when things go bad, right? It happens only once in a year, maybe, hopefully once in 5 years, but it happens, and it will. It's like playing cricket, right? No matter how good you are as a batsman, that one bad ball and you're out, you don't get another chance. So that's exactly what happens with the cyber world also. I mean, there's an entire field set up. There are 5 bowlers bowling 6 times in an over and throwing it again and again till the time you get it out. You get it wrong. And you as a batsman have only one chance to defend yourself. You have everything to wear and protect yourself, but you don't get another chance. So, Cyble as an organization, one slide behind, please. Cyble as an organization can help you do all of these. We can be your handholder, we can be your eyes inside the dark web, we can be your policy makers, we can be your responders, we can be your facilitators of rejigging your entire setup, we can be your threat hunters, we can be that important phone number you want to call when things are not good for you. This is something which is very, very important, and I would want to insist on this. I spoke about closing attacks, and I'm being very assertive when I say this. We are the ones who can actually sit down across the table and talk to your attackers and first of all validate. There have been tons of instances within our investigation experiences where we've seen that attackers have maybe just 20% of the information, and they make a big hue and cry out of it, saying that we've got so much stuff and we will blow it up over the internet and we'll do this and we'll do that. And you as a naive user or someone who needs to respond urgently just falls into the trap, because it is a trap. We are the ones who will first sit down and validate and then get down to literally negotiating. We've had instances where $1 million ransoms have come down to $50,000 and $70,000. And I'm not making this up. Yeah, that's where I'm so assertive and so forward-coming and saying that this is something which we do is very, very different and very, very difficult as compared to what anybody else does in the market. We can help you do the recovery. We can help you root cause analysis. After everything is settled out, the game is not over. You need to go back and understand what went wrong and how do you fix it and what are the other lacunas that need to be addressed. Because we were into the panel discussion today, right? I think Binu was the one who pointed out, if you've paid once, he'll come back again and ask you for it. And he's able to ask you because he's still not deleted the bad stuff that he has. How do you ensure that, once you've paid the ransom, at least for that incident, you won't be blackmailed again? We as an organization are capable enough to ensure that these kind of activities are not repeated. And of course, monitoring being a part of it, there have, in fact, in very large breaches where the exposure is very high, the risk is not over. In fact, if I would not take names, but BFSI has had multiple instances in India itself where the same BFSI entity has been, attacked second time and third time within a month. And each time they got attacked, there were multiple lacunas. Each time they exploit one lacuna, charge for it, take the money, go back, 10 days again attack, use the other loophole, attack. And because when the attacker is there, I don't know if you've noticed even Brijesh when he was talking in his keynote today, for a corporate it takes more than 200 days to detect that there is someone rogue inside the system. So if someone is sitting inside the system for 200 days with I would say not a positive intent, he is there to gather all information. So he knows a lot more about you than you yourself. So these are things that we can bring to the table. And as we grow in excitement and energy, we are also being noticed and awarded. So multiple awards for technology, multiple awards as startups, multiple awards in services, and I can't open the cards, but next 6 months, lots more on the cards. So these slides might go bigger and more clustered, if I can say, with all the things that are coming up for us. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is Cyble, and that is how we help you in the digital transformation journey with the help of threat intelligence. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Now I would like to request Augustine Korean, sir, to kindly come on stage and present the certificate to sir. Can we have a huge round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for such an insightful session? Here is the certificate for Mr. Dipesh Kaura, sir, Country Head, India and SAARC, Cyble Inc. Thank you so much, sir, once again.